Do you know what's a bigger problem in the games media than corruption? This. This image perfectly identifies a huge problem I have with the games media, and Let's Players, but that's for a different video. It's the fact that games media do not respect video games as an art form, and worse, that they do not respect the developers. Now I know this sort of thing is common practice in the games media, showing unedited story portions of games soon after release, and this is just one example from countless others, but I think that's very sad. Have you ever seen a movie or a TV site show you the last scene a day before its release, or a book site publish the last chapter of a newly released book? No, you haven't. Why? Because one, the creators wouldn't stand for that bullshit, and two, the people covering those mediums respect the art and the artists that create the things they love. Now I'd imagine the main argument defending this sort of practice would be that games are an interactive medium, and cinematics and other non-interactive storytelling components are only a minute part of the game. And while I can agree with that, it doesn't change the fact that story is an important part of a lot of games, a part that lots of people have worked very hard on. And when you put these parts of games on YouTube without any input to change said content, then you are blatantly disrespecting other people's hard work. I don't agree with this practice at all, but it's even worse when it's a day or two after the game's release, and this isn't even close to the worst example, because Destiny isn't really a story-focused game. It's even worse when you do this sort of thing with something like BioShock or Metal Gear. And it's not just a very specific thing that only annoys me. Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai said, and I paraphrase, that the new Smash Bros. Will not have cutscenes like Brawl did in its campaign, as they will just end up on YouTube and won't be special for the player. This really saddens me, as I loved the story in Brawl, and it's sad to see these sorts of inconsiderate practices are the reason why we won't be getting more. I'm not against videos like this in some situations, like the video Final Fantasy XIII the movie, because that game is bad and it takes like 80 hours to beat. So if some random YouTuber wants to post all those pretty cutscenes to save some people the time and effort of slogging through a terrible video game, then fair enough. I'd be against it if IGN did it though, because I think they should be held to a certain standard as the biggest video game publication in the world. So yeah, to conclude, don't post videos of story content from games without any of your own input like analysis or commentaries, because it's disrespectful to the art and the people that created said art. Especially don't do this if you're a major video game website or YouTuber, as it sets a bad precedent for others. Especially don't do it if the game's only been out for a couple of days. At least wait a month if you absolutely must post this kind of content. Thank you for listening to my dumb opinions about things that don't really matter. If you want to hear more of my dumb opinions about things that don't really matter, hit subscribe. And if you liked listen to my opinions about dumb things that don't really matter, then hit the like button, as that's what it's there for.